Aerodrome Finance and Base update. Here's why most people are not ready for this upcoming move. My name is mikemadz. Let's start this video. Before I start the video, as always, show me that you're still around. Every like matters, every comment matters. The more people engage, the better for the video, the better for our projects, the better for the entire community. I appreciate you. Let's start. All right, let's stop wasting time. Let's jump straight into it. We are heading into a very, very important data print here tomorrow with the unemployment rate. Usually markets tend to pause here and then decide the direction if this data is actually in the favor of risk assets or not. So I have to push out this video as fast as possible. Of course, today covering Aerodrome mainly. Aerodrome, something has changed here for Aerodrome. We're gonna cover here shortly. Moonshot, base altcoins, two microcaps here that I'm currently buying, actively buying here in the base ecosystem. Aerodrome, a new price prediction here, especially once Ethereum actually starts to pick up pace here. We have to take a look at what Aerodrome is actually capable of doing here at the peak mania phase. And one big warning for most investors at this current point here, very, very important to watch, okay? Now, Aerodrome, something has changed. What did change for Aerodrome? Let's zoom out for a second here. As you can see here, this is the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. Why is this so important, guys? Because, of course, as always here, Base is a L2 on Ethereum, and the success of Base also, of course, depends on the success of Ethereum here. So the higher Ethereum goes, the better for the entire Base ecosystem. And this is why it's super important to take a look at, is Ethereum finally able here to outperform Bitcoin in a sustainable fashion or not here? And as you can see here, this is the ETH to Bitcoin chart. And over this last years, basically, Ethereum has been bleeding against Bitcoin like crazy here. As you can see here, it's simply lower highs after lower high and lower low after lower low, basically a downtrend here since years at this point. And as you can see here, this recent rally is starting to look promising. Why? Because this push up higher is actually a little bit more powerful than the recent ones. And this is starting to look like a bottoming formation here for ETH Bitcoin, which is super important also for our Aerodrome price prediction here shortly. Now, as you can see, this is still technically just a repetition here of the recent pumps here of Ethereum, where we had this pump on the Bitcoin pair, but unfortunately then this pump gets faded once we touch this bull market support band here. So as you can see here, we are at a very crucial point. If Ethereum is able to close a weekly candle here, or the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is able to close a weekly candle above the bull market support band here, then this will be an absolutely crazy, mind-boggling rally for Ethereum here that will catch most people off guard here. And if this happens, then of course, once Ethereum stabilizes here at high prices, this is where the base mania season can start here. This is why we are positioned in those base plays here. Now, take a look at that. As you can see here, also super important for Aerodrome, as Aerodrome is the liquidity hub of base, guys. You have to remember that. You have to keep that saved up here in your head. The Aerodrome is the liquidity hub of Base, and nothing is changing that in the short term. As you can see here, the breakdown of transaction volume has shifted from being concentrated in Solana here, 2024, to Ethereum in Base in 2025. So something has changed. Ethereum and Base are starting to gain actual ground here in the crypto space, which is super important. And as you can see here, Base especially is absolutely winning as a layer 2. And this is why this is the ground framework here for Ethereum and also for our other Base picks here. This repricing to the upside here, which eventually will come here. Also, take a look at that. More than 70% of USDC is actually on Ethereum and its layer 2 ecosystems. Again, just like I say here always, guys, stable coins are the crypto use case. They are boring, I know it's not the most exciting topic, but stable coins here, especially here, institutions are eyeing the stablecoin narrative, are one of the most important use cases for crypto. And this is where Base will shine. This is where Ethereum is already shining. And this, more importantly, where Aerodrome will have its edge here. Keep that in your head. All right, before we get back to Aerodrome, I want to cover my moonshots here on the Base ecosystem. And I personally really think here that it is time here, and it is starting to tick here at the time. This is most probably the last chance to start dabbling into those Base ecosystem plays, and especially into those microcaps, because once Ethereum starts picking up, of course, microcaps are going to follow here, midcaps and then microcaps, and the repricing to the upside can happen very fast. Is it guaranteed to happen? No, guys, of course not. I'm not here a moon boy showing you something absolutely unrealistic. I'm not saying to go all in something, but usually from experience, guys, once the momentum picks up, it's very hard to find the entry here, especially with microcaps. And those moonshots are, first things first, of course, alien base here. If Aerodrome is successful with our thesis, people will simply look for other betas here, a DEX on base here that is lower market cap, which has more upside potential. And the only thing that comes into mind in this kind of category is simply Alien Base here. Alien Base is undervalued. I don't care what everybody says here. Alien Base is undervalued, and Alien Base product-wise is much more attractive here than it was last year. And as you can see here, still sub $50 million market cap. So basically a joke in market cap, especially what Alien Base is doing with the B3 partnership also on top. It is simply undervalued, not financial advice. And as you can see here, the product itself, the DEX itself, is much more attractive than it was at high prices. We have now Explorers, we have a much more cleaner interface and UI, which makes it more attractive in my personal opinion for retailer to use here. It's a very clean DEX in my personal opinion, easy to use, fast, and just like I said here in one of my older videos, the functionality is unique to Alien Base here, which makes it a very nice DEX to use here. So overall, very simple thesis, undervalued DEX. Okay, especially compared to Aerodrome, the upside is here larger. Of course, risk-wise, it's a different profile, but the risk to reward with the upside, with this clean UI, with this nice product actually makes simply sense here, especially if we have this repricing of microcaps. And as you can see here, the chart, of course, it's not a pretty chart here. Let's not beat around the bush. It's not a pretty chart like most microcaps or most low caps, but the product around here at those lower prices is much better than it was at this peak here. So if you were bullish up here, there's no reason not to be bullish at this current prices. Actually, if you are bullish on the Alien Base, right now it is at a discount, and right now is the time to position yourself before we get the second mania phase here, or the real mania phase, if it happens here. So first pick here is going to be Alien Base potential. It has a very high potential, guys. I don't want to name any number right now, but 50x is not something that is out of the blue or is impossible. Okay, second pick here, and I want to have a little more of a deep dive today into PokPok. PEG and PokPok I cover regularly here on my channel. While the price is not moving in the best direction in the short term, well, we had a pump here from the bottom. Price-wise, from the all-time highs, we're still far away, and price-wise and attention-wise, it's not there where it should be. But this does not mean that I'm not bullish on this project. In the contrary, I still cover this project on a regular basis. I am in contact with the team. I hold the token myself, and I'm more bullish than ever on PokPok and PEG. And as you can see here, sub $1 million, and actually right now on the road back to $1 million. Again, the same principle applies here, like with Alien Base. The product or the protocol itself is much more attractive down here, price-wise, than it was down here, up here. Okay, so much more refined and finished product down here than it was up here. So simple math here, 1 + 1 equals 2. It is at a discount, okay? It is at a discount, and the upside potential for PokPok and gamified option trading is something that can be life-changing here without sounding again like a moon boy. What is the thesis here? Simple thesis here. Gamified options trading. Options trading in general is starting to get in trend here in crypto. Most crypto people rely on perps. Options will get attention, guys. Mark my words. And more importantly, gamifying that entire thing here, making it a fun way for retail or for simple crypto heads to do that is also a nice way to onboard people here. Don't sleep on that narrative, okay? Also, as you can see here, product-wise, it is expanding here. The team is building non-stop here. Okay, as you can see, long story short, there are more and more options for different kind of traders here to trade options on PokPok. So the ecosystem is expanding, the protocol is expanding, and the building is not stopping here, regardless of the price action. And also, just like I said here in my last videos, staking is now a thing here. So make use of the flywheel effect, guys. You stake your tokens, low market cap tokens, you earn tokens while you sleep, and you wait for this attention and for this adoption to come. And then suddenly, if the market actually moves in the direction we anticipated to do here, you have a nice bag here of PEG, which can be, of course, also here life-changing. I love this word, guys. It is possible. I've seen it with Alien Base. Nobody listened to me here when I told you at lower, much lower market cap, make sure to farm Alien Base here. Stake it, hold it, and wait for high prices. And then actually, some of my good friends made crazy amounts of money here with Alien Base. Same story can repeat here, but of course, zoom out and let's not just focus on price here of the token. The protocol makes sense. The protocol is growing. And also here, guys, as you can see, with Joshua, the co-founder of PokPok, it is simply a much more attractive protocol here than it was last year. And this is usually one of the best alphas you can get. Take a look at projects. Are they still building no matter what the price is doing? If the answer is yes, the chances of success here in the next couple months here, if we get this alt season, are much greater here than, of course, a project that is simply out of the window here, not progressing, etc. Okay? Also, Alpha, just like I said here in my last videos, Nebo, guys, the founder of PokPok here, is actually now the official country lead of base here in Singapore here. So again, great setup, guys. A setup that most people are sleeping on, okay? I'm still gonna cover this project no matter what the price is doing, but in my personal opinion, this has the potential to be a 100 million plus project here, not financial advice. All right, getting back to Aerodrome and the new price prediction. Let's keep this short, let's keep it crispy, let's keep it nice and understandable. This is the Aerodrome chart. Of course, just like I told you, this is not gonna be a V-shaped recovery to new all-time highs within weeks. Most people didn't listen, most people, again, loaded up here on the top, got FOMO, and right now they're down 20% plus. So again, as always, guys, never FOMO buy and never panic sell. And this is also the case here with Aerodrome. As you can see here, and something you need to have on your radar here, if you have TradingView, make sure to put the bull market support band on the Aerodrome chart. Why? Because right now, as you can see here, this is clearly resistance here. Once Aerodrome closes above the bull market support band, which is currently the 21-week EMA, actually is around the level of 70 cents, let's say. Once Aerodrome has a weekly close above 70 cents, we are gonna see new all-time highs within weeks here. Mark my word, but this is why it's important to keep this chart here on your radar. And more importantly, on the risk side here, if Aerodrome keeps getting rejected here, then the potential of a lower low is still possible here, guys. Always be ready for both scenarios here. Aerodrome, in the short term, it's good that we had this bounce. It's good that we actually invalidated here this downside deviation, but right now we need to close above 70 cents as fast as possible, okay? And taking a look at the price prediction, just like I said here, the higher Ethereum goes, the better chances are that Aerodrome actually can reach our crazy price predictions here that I keep talking about. And as you can see here, these are those risk levels for Ethereum. Usually in mania phases, there is the chance for those risk assets to reach the risk of 1. 1 is the highest risk on the risk curve, doesn't usually last too long, can be also just a week. But if Ethereum actually comes close to this 0.8 or even 1 risk level, then you can see here the potential of Ethereum going to these high valuations would set up Aerodrome actually to go above $10 here. So those price predictions that I'm having about $5 are conservative to realistic, but if this reality comes true here, where Ethereum finally catches bid here, just like in last cycles, then the door opens for above $10 Ethereum here. So don't stop believing, okay? It is important to be optimistic, but also you need to prepare for downside risks, and you also need to prepare for more realistic targets here. So make sure to be ready for each outcome here. And this is why we are getting here to the end of the video. Big warning here, just like always at the end. Yes, guys, I'm optimistic. Yes, guys, it makes sense to be optimistic here. The crypto asset class is evolving and is growing here, maturing, and market cap wise, everything should trend higher that has value in this ecosystem. But you need to understand, again, nothing has to happen within days here. Things can take longer than most people expect, and shakeouts, brutal ones, can still happen here. And usually, just like I showed you here, this happens here. Usually when alt Bitcoin pairs here reach their absolute lows on their Bitcoin pair, this is usually the time where alt season happens. And as you can see here, we are simply not there yet. There's still a 20% gap here. Now the main question is this going to happen on a Bitcoin parabolic move where Bitcoin explodes higher in a parabolic fashion here, leaving altcoins behind, where altcoins don't catch up or slowly catch up? Or is this going to happen where Bitcoin has one more huge shakeout to the downside, where simply Bitcoin pairs get absolutely wrecked? Those two scenarios are possible for this chart to play out, but in either way, you need to be ready for each outcome, guys, and especially you need to be ready for a downside risk, as currently, right now, everybody is mega bullish. Just make sure to save your gains here, protect your capital, and the gains will come. At the end of the day, guys, be bullish on yourself. That yields the most returns. Do your own research. Super, super important. Everybody can be wrong, especially me. Most important thing, as always, and especially in the long term, don't get wrecked.
This is God given, not from blue tops like Mars Simpson, just hard discipline, pot simmering, cooking up, no rocks in the pan, watching the plane form in the sand, bidding castles out of thoughts in our head, late nights, no sleep in my bed, trying to see my dreams manifest.